Drake's Golden Hind, which he sailed all the way around the world in 1577. Very first Englishman who managed that. And when Sir Francis came back, he brought with him £25 million worth of treasure, all stolen from the Spanish and the Portuguese. We did not arrest him for being a pirate, though. Of course not. That's not how we do things in England. We gave him his knighthood instead, because that money paid off our national debt 3 times over. So yeah, the Queen was delighted with him. But you can visit that replica for yourself now. They've got a lovely museum on board. They do loads of fun things for kids. They do treasure hunts and reenactments and things. It's actually managed to get around the world twice, that ship. One more time than the original did. Right, this bridge here, this incredibly boring slab of grey concrete we're about to go through, I present to you the world famous London Bridge. I know, a lot of people think the next bridge along, the pretty one with the towers, is London Bridge. No, that is Tower Bridge. The key's in the name. It's got towers. It's next to the Tower of London. This is London Bridge right here. This is what you came all this way to see. I'm very sorry. If you don't believe me, when we're going through, just look to your left and right hand side. You can see they literally put the writing on the wall. London Bridge. Not the original. I always feel like I need to say that. We've had so many London bridges over the last 2,000 years. This one here only dates back to the 1970s. We sold the last one to an American gentleman. A man named McCulloch, Robert P. McCulloch, paid £1 million for Victorian London Bridge and had it shipped out, brick by brick, and rebuilt in his home in Arizona, where you can still visit it. It is over Lake Havasu in Arizona, and it's supposed to be a lot more attractive than our London Bridge here, so if you'd like to see a nicer London Bridge, go to the States. I'm sure you've all heard the nursery rhyme, London Bridge is falling down. That's probably referring to the original London Bridge. It was Roman, dated back to about 40 AD, and it was made of wood, so it fell down a lot. It was constantly burning or being attacked by Vikings or being pulled into the Thames. It fell down 8 times all in all, I think. Eventually they got the bright idea to build a stone bridge. That one lasted more than 600 years, so they did get it right in the end. Right, now you may have missed her, because she is wearing her North Atlantic camouflage, but there is a rather magnificent warship coming up directly in front of us. Now this is the HMS Belfast, and she was our largest cruiser during World War II. All 11,500 tons of her, and she has had the most spectacular career. She fired some of the first shots at the D-Day landings. She sank Hitler's favourite battleship, the Scharnhorst. She fought in the Russian convoys, the Arctic convoys, the Korean War, and apparently she could still fight today. She's supposed to be battle ready in 72 hours, and those guns at the front there, they can fire up to 12 miles. They could hit Croydon from here. I'm not saying they should, but they could. Which is funny if you've been to Croydon. It looked like she'd be sold for scrap metal, but she got rescued. The Imperial War Museum bought her for £1 in 1978. And now she's a floating museum. All access. Genuinely, one of the best days out you'll have in London. It's absolutely brilliant. If you've got kids, or you are a kid, or you're a teacher, they do school sleepovers on that ship. They call it Kip on a Ship. They'll let your children sleep in the sailors' quarters. They will let your children fire the guns, which are not loaded, I hasten to add. She was named after where she was built in Belfast, same boatyard that the Titanic was built in. The Titanic was her big sister. Did a lot better than her sister, obviously. She's still here. But yeah, I'm very, very fond of the Belfast. I managed to kill a whole afternoon on there before. They just let you wander around. It's completely self-guided, and they do let you go everywhere. So, with London Bridge behind us, we do of course have Tower Bridge coming up next. Before I talk about Tower Bridge, that's when we get past the Belfast. Have a quick look to your right hand side. On the bank side there's a really weirdly shaped black glass roundish building. No official nickname, but I have heard the armadillo and the stack of pancakes and Darth Vader's helmet. That is actually the office of the Mayor of London. That is City Hall. So that's where our Mayor, Sadiq Khan, meets at the London Assembly. So London's most important decisions are made in that weird little building there. Right, Tower Bridge now. The most photographed bridge in the entire world. Sorry, San Francisco, our bridge is better than yours. It is not as old as it looks. It only looks old to blend in with the Tower of London on our left here. I will tell you about the tower when we turn around, but it's a nice photo opportunity now. I think this is a nice angle of the tower. Yeah, the bridge only dates back to 1894. All this stonework on it is purely cosmetic. It is a steel and iron bridge. It has to be, because it is a vascular bridge, which means it opens and closes in the middle to let tall ships come in and out. It used to open a lot. It used to open about 40 times a day. You're lucky if it opens once or twice a week now. Check the website if you want to see it open though, because they have to give 24 hours notice, so check, and it does happen. So I think it's worth it. It takes about 3 minutes, but it is a spectacular sight. Upper deck, make sure you are waving at Tower Bridge as we're going through. Wave as hard as you can. Victorian legend says if you can get a wave back, the entire boat gets 5 years good luck. So if you'd like to bank some luck for the rest of the year, get their attention, distract them from their selfies, wave as hard as you can. Hopefully we get something.
Yeah, people.
From where I'm sitting, they look slightly confused. Now that comes from when Victorian sailors would go to sea. That was usually their very last chance to see their loved ones right there. So if their friends and family cared enough about them to be waving at them on the bridge when they left, then the odds were good that they would wait for them to come home again. Hopefully safe and sound in around 5 years' time. So we've just drifted into the old port of London to look for a good place to turn around. This used to be the busiest port in the entire world. They used to moor 50,000 ships a year here, and 9,000 barges worked this part of the Thames. You used to be able to get from one side of the river to the other without getting your feet wet, just by hopping from boat to boat. Now this is kind of the land of the super rich. This is where people park their yachts and their super yachts, like the Bellamy on our right hand side here. That's been here about 2 weeks now. I've been trying to get their crew to wave at us for the entire time they've been there, but they've been ignoring us so far. But I found out the yacht is worth 60 million, the gold at the bottom is worth 12 million. They've got a swimming pool on board and a glass waterfall. What even is that? Oh, we are turning. As we do turn, I would urge you, cameras at the ready on our left-hand side. When we do turn, I am slightly biased. I think this is the nicest view of Tower Bridge you can get from the River Thames, because you get old and new London in the background, and I'm pretty sure we're the only cruise boat that turns around here, so we may be the only ones who give you this. Obviously, you get bonus points if you get a double-decker red bus in your picture. That goes without saying. There you go. How nice is that? Potentially your social media moment of the day there, people. May have just given you your new Facebook cover photo. Your Instagram of the day. Part of your Snapchat stories.